This book has changed my life more than any other self-help book I've ever owned, ever has. And it's not a self-help book, it's a book on writing short films. I wanted something to study to help me better create short films at the time. And then I started going through this book and I was astonished. I realized every single page had something in it that could inspire me to live like a protagonist, and that the reason that we connect with certain stories and why certain stories are more interesting or inspiring for us are because the mechanics that make a story work are the mechanics that make an epic life, an interesting life. According to this book, drama relies on two important rules. A character, the protagonist, who will take action to achieve something. Two, this character will be met with conflict. So those are the two concepts. A character wants something, and it has to be a specific want. We need to know exactly what the protagonist wants for the story to be compelling, for your own life story to be compelling. You need to know exactly what you want in this life and be headed towards it. The second part of an interesting epic story is conflict. Often we want to avoid conflict, to stay away from things that make us feel uncomfortable. But those are the things that actually highlight and make an interesting story. So welcome and know that when you go towards that thing that you desire in your life, you're going to be met with conflict, and be happy. These things are going to reveal who you truly are. Drama needs characters who desire, who want, who need, and who will act. So another very important part of storytelling, as we see in this book and as you can study anywhere else, is show, don't tell. Don't use exposition, don't use dialogue to push the story forward. Instead, have the character be in constant action. Be a person of few words. Make sure when you speak they are important words, and then you don't get lost in dramas that are unimportant and maybe talking about things that are distractions, and sometimes even losing your gravitas in conversations when you're so eagerly willing to completely just let out whatever is in your mind. Be more specific and more deliberate with your word choice and the ideas you choose to express with whoever you're talking to at the moment. Show some restraint. Allow for silences. Lean dialogue is powerful. Brevity is powerful. I love this quote over here. Drama cannot deal with people who are weak-willed, who cannot make decisions of even temporary meaning, who adopt no conscious attitude towards events, or who make no effort to control their environment. They must be active. It's so important that you're the type of person that shows your will, that shows your commitment to where you're headed in order to have an interesting story for your own life, and who's able to make the decisions in a strong manner. That's going to be the type of person that lives that big, amazing story life that you can be proud of and fulfilled with when you're lying on your deathbed. Did you make the decisions you needed to make in a strong-willed manner, and were you active and moving forward? These are the ingredients for an interesting storied life. In a sense, the film becomes a test of that commitment and the price you will pay for maintaining it. Everything that comes up in your life, an amazing frame to see all your obstacles and conflicts through, is as a test of your commitment, and what is the price you're willing to pay for it? Are you willing to give up every single thing? Relationships, passions, outside distractions, and hobbies. What are you willing to give up for that ultimate goal? How committed are you? Next, we're going to look at failure. Throughout any movie, any story, the character is going to go through failures. If you go through your conflicts too easily, the storyline isn't interesting for the audience. But if your protagonist's failure to hit his goals can either defeat him or force him to change in ways that allow him to grow and succeed in his quest. So, looking back, when you go through a problem that was difficult for you to go through, contemplation and examination are very important things within movies and within your own life. How can we look back and see, what did I do well? What did I do wrong? What do I want to improve on later on? What does this mean for me emotionally? Am I still as committed? Do I need to make a pivot to a different path? Failures are just learning experiences, and we need the failures to learn. It's not just, oh, we're able to learn. That is the only way that we do learn, is through those failures. These are some of the ideas that I found super inspiring. There's so many more. Literally every single page of this book I found to be useful and just good life advice, and just a reminder of what's important, and asking yourself what is important, welcoming on conflict, and knowing those are the relevant things, knowing that actions are what move a story forward and what define a scene, and not dialogue. What are the actions? What are the intentions? So this book was such an amazing read for me, and as a filmmaker, obviously studying storytelling is so important. But the takeaways, I think, are relevant for anyone in this world, where if you study storytelling, which is how can I make the best story possible, and apply those concepts and those frameworks to our own lives, we can create the best storied life possible, and just live something where at the end of our life we're fulfilled. I went after the biggest conflicts possible, and I did it with singular-minded intention. And I stayed completely committed. I acted brave, even if I didn't feel it in the moment. I found the biggest antagonist possible, and I continued forward. I learned from my mistakes. I was more focused on my actions than my dialogue, and keeping all those things in mind, I think, can allow us to live the biggest, most focused, most meaningful life possible. So I would highly recommend this book. I'm gonna put the some link. I don't have any affiliates or anything, but I'll put the link for this in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you soon.